And we're back with me, Johnny McMurray, on the On the Spot Football Podcast for yet another fantastic guest. You'll know our next guest by his incredibly witty Instagram and Twitter post, mainly Twitter back in the day, but he's a massive advocate for mental health. He's an ex-player, and he's a good friend. Mr. Joe McDonnell. Joe.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for taking the time. I know it's probably not something that you're inclined to do. You don't really do these things, but listen, I really appreciate it. I've been torturing you for quite a while, probably like I do most of the guests, but mate, it's an absolute pleasure to get to see you again.
Yeah, no, it was you'd reached out to me a month or so ago, and I thought, yeah, I'll do it, but deep down, probably didn't. As
you were like,
I have a lot of anxiety about doing it. I looked at some of the guests you have on, so I think that was a big part of it for me. Was you Sean Mordaunt, who probably one of the best Irish League players ever, in my opinion. Love him. Goldie, debatable whether he was a good Irish League player or not. Andy Waterworth, and I'm thinking, like, why am I coming on this? Do you know what I mean?
You're a friend. You've played.
Yes, but when you look at it in that aspect, I'd be like, I'm quite embarrassed and ashamed of my football. I wouldn't even, and even that, the next word is career, and I wouldn't even call it a career. Right. I don't like using that word, but I'd be ashamed and embarrassed of it. So when I'm coming on to something that, like, to talk about football or what's maybe seen as a football podcast, I just feel embarrassed.
Right.
To the point where it would give me tons of anxiety.
Well, I hope that you don't have anxiety, because even though you're saying that, Paddy McNally was probably one of the first people that kind of pointed me in your direction. And I think Paddy's been quite similar in terms of probably ending his career earlier than what most people would have probably expected you to back in the day too. So, and that really resonated with a lot of people, and the reasons why, and like, such a talent, why did you mentally maybe come out of it, or maybe just think that they couldn't be bothered. Do you know what I mean? So Paddy probably put me in the direction of you. Obviously, I've known you for quite a long time. I think we were just talking about my dad the last time, but I think we really spoke. I thought it was a prank phone call. You said to phone me at 8 o'clock in the morning when my dad was in a car crash, and I was like, wise up, leave me alone. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. You were like, no, I'm being serious.
For once.
For once. So I was like, he's taking it. Why is he phoning me at 8 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
But my dad's here, we were laughing about it. But it's honestly, it's a pleasure, and I think that people will want to hear from you.
I've done this before. I've done this before for like an amateur sort of league podcast thing during lockdown, I think, and I felt okay doing that because it was like amateur league.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? I was okay with that. And there were certain questions that he asked me and I answered, but I didn't really get into it.
Okay.
And I'd probably be willing to talk a wee bit more about certain stuff tonight. And it just, the thing that made me do this was just, if it helps like one young kid playing, then it's all right.
Well, one of the biggest things I think we spoke about, or that I had actually wrote down and touched on last night, is the career that you had and the way it took off so quickly, which we're going to dive completely into here in a couple of minutes. But you've kind of looking full circle now at the bigger picture. You have a son who's at Aberdeen, who's flying and doing well. There's no better person in your position to guide that. Do you know what I mean? Like, he has everything that you've been through is probably what he's going to be introduced to. So having somebody like you is probably an incredibly big asset for him, to think, I can navigate my way through the tough decisions, the good decisions, whatever comes at him.
I hope I can help him in some way. He just, anytime he has an issue, I tell him, here's what I did, and do the opposite.
Do the opposite.
And it worked.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? It worked.
Yeah.
If he gets left out or whatever, what did I do? Here's what I did. What do you think you should do? And the next day he picks up the phone and says, I'm going to go into the training ground and do extra. So,
well, one of the good things I've noticed lately too is you're actually trying to stick a boost back on and compete with him at times. And
I don't know about that.
I don't know too much about
Kick a ball 4 or 5 times, knees up like a bat. But no, you know what? He pushes me to do like anything that's health and fitness, which is great. It's great to have him about me, because if it wasn't for him, I'd probably take the easy route and sit on the sofa more times than enough. But when he's home, it's like, let's go and do this, let's go and do that. Drag me to the gym, drag me anywhere to do whatever. So it's no, it is. It's a pleasure having him home when he's home, and he keeps me on the straight and narrow. Definitely.
What I want to do is I want to start off from the very, very start.
Okay.
Take me back to how football sort of began for Joe McDonnell.
The very start would have been, I love this story because I think it just translates into football in general. So like kids being scouted, kids being left out. in P4 and P5, my PE report was that I was having difficulty throwing and catching a ball. And in P7, I was selected to play for County Antrim for the schools. And my teacher brought me in and showed me the reports and says, in the space of 2 years, you basically struggled to throw and catch a ball. You're playing for your county. It's County Antrim in the Strand back then. And we played Dublin at Cork and Dublin at Casement. And that was kind of it. I was a really, really slow developer. I was a ringer for the Doyle. I was that bad that I couldn't play in my own age group. And slowly got better. And the team that I was playing in, the manager went and spoke to the manager my age and said, look, it's getting a wee bit obvious now that he's a ringer. He's actually getting better. And I went up to his team and went up to my own age and was a keeper.
Okay.
And actually was a decent goalkeeper. Probably should have stayed in that, so we would have had a better chance. But no, I was a goalkeeper, and then as everyone has that story, they either started up front, made their way back or whatever. So I kind of made my way outfield, and just kind of happened all so fast. Like, I wasn't really aware of it. I was just turning up, playing football. Like, we were rubbish. The Doyle was rubbish. But some of the best times of your life playing that football. DC would have been our main competitors, and across from me would have been Ryan Ketney, who obviously, when I went to Millwall, he went to Reading, and he come home and he played for Clintonville for years. So I wouldn't say hate, but we disliked each other a lot.
Fair enough.
And just to go out and play against him as often as you could, that's all the games that you look forward to. He would spur me on, and we were. I would say we were probably got to the stage where we were probably the two best players in the league, and sometimes it boiled over. There was some interest. I went to Northampton on trial. That was an eye opener. Actually, the night before the game, they gave me like 50 quid for the expenses in an envelope for the week that I was there. And the door was rapping on my hotel room about 12:30 at night. It's like a Friday night before I was playing the next day. 15, 14, something stupid like that. And I get up, petrified, open the door. It was Escape. Brought me over, steaming. He says, go into your envelope and give me 20 quid. Tell nobody about this.
Shut up. he topped you up for a few beer?
He's down at the bar, slogging all night. Me and him was driving to the game the next morning.
Yeah, no way.
No way, So the feedback that I got...
And Ian, you're only sort of 14.
I would say
'Is this the first time you've been away?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so that was an eye-opener. And then the feedback that I got there was they were looking to take me back, but I was actually playing up front at the time. And they said, we would like to see him as a midfielder.
Okay.
So I think the feedback was naturally playing for the Doyle when I was playing up there. We weren't great, and you'd have to come back to try and do
something to get yourself up.
And they could see that, and they said we'd like to see him as a midfielder. I was the first I'd ever heard midfielder or anything, and I remember the scouts saying they're going to take you back as a midfielder. And then Norwich were interested, Newcastle was interested. We had a massive fight against DC.
Okay.
Massive team fight where it really spilled over. It was punches, fly kicks, everything. And the Newcastle guy said to me straight after the game, he said, you're an embarrassment. Your attitude's appalling. And your behaviour, shocking. And that's as far as we'll ever go with you. And then, I don't know, it just was Wolves. I went to Wolves with Tommy Stewart.
Yes. And
Tommy Stewart. Yeah. Tommy Stewart got signed, so he's a year above me, so he could get signed. I obviously was going to be the next year. They were bringing me back. And when we were going back, Chris Casement and Robbie Garrett was coming over by me.
Okay.
And
two good fellas too.
Yeah, really good, and went on to have good careers as well. But you'll see throughout this football, not career, but timeline, I call it, it was just wrong choice after wrong choice after wrong choice. So we'll get the Wolves, and they're like, be in bed for 10 o'clock. That's what I needed. I needed that structure. I needed someone to be like,
this is your regiment.
This is what you're doing.
Aye. Okay.
And I never forget, we flew back. I'm nearly sure the scout was called Noel. And we flew home, and Chris and Robbie Garrett was on the seats with him. And when we landed, we were waiting on our bags. And one of them, I can't remember who it was, one of the two boys had come over and says, they're going to sign you. Noel actually thinks you'd have a choice of a few clubs at the minute. I was like, oh, sweet, dead on. And then went to Mill Cup and done extremely well there. Got player of the tournament for County Down. Millwall had seen me playing in the first game against Charlton, and the last game against Swindon, they were standing at the gates and said, we're going to take you today. Like, so you're going to come with us. go home and get your stuff.
Right.
I went over there for 2 weeks. Played in a game after being there about 3 days against Arsenal, so it was just completely buzzing to be playing against Arsenal. I was an Arsenal fan. And it was one of them games where like you probably have once in your life, you know, and I was even as a 15-year-old.
Extreme.
Everything was just fine. Everything was just perfect. Took me off with 10 minutes to go and says, go and sit in the changing room. Someone will be in to see you. Chief Scout come in with the head of the academy and stuff and says, like, you're going to stay here now. And I was like, I got to go to school. I've got another year left in school. They're like, you'll finish your education here. Phone my mum up. My mum was, I think Wolves are quite interested as well. And I said, yeah, but that's next year.
Yeah.
You know, if he breaks his leg, something happens, where does that leave him? I didn't have a clue. My mum didn't have a clue. Mm-hmm. So it was, stay there. And I went to them and says, what about my schooling? And they says, do you want to play football or do you want to go to school? And I says, play football. And that was me. And that was another wrong choice. I should have made sure that my education was secured, and I should have completed my education. That was another wrong choice. But before the end of them 2 weeks, so I was there for 2 weeks, and then they had a return flight. So obviously if the trial didn't go too well, I would have been going home. So they allowed me to fly home and get clothes and stuff, and go to the school and get everything sorted. By the end of them 2 weeks, I knew I didn't want to do that.
You didn't want to go to Millwall?
I don't want to play football now.
At that young?
Yeah.
That was you done?
I knew I didn't want to do this. I had 2 weeks, and I was like, this isn't for me.
What made you think at that stage that would have been? Because I would say most people in your position at that stage, sort of 14, 15, 16, going across to Millwall, going across all these different clubs, getting the opportunity to sign, even education, when you're talking about you wanted to finish, you were thinking, I want to continue schooling, I want to go back for a year and continue schooling. Most people wouldn't even consider that. They would be like, football, no problem.
I don't know. I never really looked at football like that. I just played football with my friends, that's all it was. And then this just happened. And then I was in London and I trained from 10:30 in the morning to 12. I had lunch and my house was right across my training ground. I was in the house for 1 o'clock. And I had from 1 o'clock till the bedtime.
Yeah. To fill your time.
I spent no time indoors growing up. I was school bag in and away I went.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden you're stuck in a room no bigger than this room.
Do you think, and I don't want to jump too far forward here, because I think that I probably caught the tail end of that sort of childhood where kids, you actually were out, whether it was group of mates kicking the ball about or two-man hunt or whatever it was back in the day. But kids are very isolated now. Xboxers come into play, PlayStations. They're very able to adapt on their own. So to be able to put in a situation like that in today's day and age, would probably suit a kid.
Yeah,
probably go, I can sit in the room.
Noah has no issues.
It's mental.
No, it doesn't bat an eyelid at what he's doing. Doesn't bat an eyelid. Not one bit homesick. Happy as Laura.
So strange. I know. I think that I would have always loved the potential to go away. Mm-hmm. I don't think I'd have lasted without being beside my land.
I actually was listening to the Peter Crouch podcast one time, and he was talking about some of the Irish boys that went to Spurs, the academy. I'm really sure it was Spurs Academy. He said, were some of the best players he ever seen. And he would say to his dad, they just don't want it enough. And his dad was saying to him, you should try doing that.
Yeah.
You should try moving to Ireland when you're 15 or 16 and see how you get on. I don't think people really understand it. Like, there's so many talented boys who went away. Drink, gambling, all the stuff that you shouldn't do. And it's all because they're lonely, they're homesick. There's so much time, money and time. You finished early. You weren't allowed to do much. So it's just like, what can I do? Where do you go? Drink, gambling, and stuff that they shouldn't have done.
See, before you make the move across, I know you're still quite young at this stage, but like, drink was obviously maybe never an issue or never brought into your life when you were home. But the culture, whenever you go away to a professional football club, is obviously, especially back then, is more drink involved.
I'm on trial at Millwall that two-week period, and it's the physio's son's 21st. And staying in a digs with two boys. Mark Quigley was a fantastic footballer, but a Fruit Loop complete nutcase. Okay. And he should have made it. He's all the talent that to make it. And a boy called Barry Cogan, who was the complete opposite of him. Quad as a moose. And the manager came to me, I'm 15, he came to me and says, they're going to the party tonight. Go you down and have a few beers, but no spirits. And that was the worst thing that he could have said to me. Because from that moment on, all I did was drink.
Yeah.
That was the worst thing that could have happened to me. And that's where, being at Wolves, where it was like be in bed for 10 o'clock, check in on you. This was the complete opposite. This was like, go ballistic every day.
So see whenever you sign and you're there, and you're thinking that that's supposed to be, most kids would think that's the happiest day of their lives. What was going through your mind when you're signing?
The night we actually signed, the head of the academy, Nicky Milo, actually a really good guy, he stood up and says, if you want to leave now and go and be a brain surgeon or heart surgeon or a lawyer or a doctor or whatever, do it, because you'll have more success at trying this. He says, I don't know how many there was, maybe 12, 13 of us. And he said, if one of you plays one game for the first team, we've done well.
That's all they wanted, just one.
Just if one of you, that's how difficult this game is. So for me, I never really viewed it as, I didn't view it as I was going away to play football. I always just viewed it, see whatever I signed, in my head, that's how long I was going to be away for.
Yeah.
I never viewed this like, when it comes to the end of these 3 or 4 years, I'm going to stay on. It's just like, get these 3 or 4 years over with, and I got home. My mentality from I got there.
It's such a different outlook on a kid going away to play professional football, because I've never heard of anybody wanting their time to be up before it actually starts.
I loved football. Played football almost every day with friends. See, the minute I got there, seeing it became your job, it just wasn't what I thought it wasn't what football was to me.
Yeah.
You know, you were going in, you were competing. One of the things I really struggled with was going in competing aggressively with people that played midfield. They were the only friends I had.
Yeah.
Was the teammates at the time. And you'd fight, argue, and I'd be like, do you want to go for a coffee? I'd be like, I couldn't switch off.
Yeah.
I would hate them. And I think you'll notice this. I don't know if it's still the same or if it's people would admit, but you tend to find that strikers would be friendly with midfielders, midfielders friendly with defenders, and very rarely you get 2 centre midfielders best mates at a club, or 3 strikers that they might love each other on the pitch and have connection, but there's always that wee bit of resentment if they're doing better than you. And
you don't look, especially if you're on the bench, you don't look at someone going, I want him to score today.
And I really struggled with that. I really struggled to just switch off and then go, oh, Hal, here, come on, let's go for a coffee.
The only time I can ever resonate with you in saying that is whenever you're the partner with someone and you're playing every week.
Yeah.
Because see, if you're not that person, good luck.
Yeah.
Like if you're sitting watching 2 people get on well, play every week in front of you,
yeah,
must be hard.
Yeah. So I struggled with that. Really did.
And see, as a midfielder, were you playing most weeks at this stage? Were you straight into Millwall, playing, getting on?
Straight into Millwall. As I said, the first ever game against Arsenal, unbelievable. Couldn't have went any better. Next week, play. They were like, I'd done so well. They were like, you're going to go out and play for the 17s against Crystal Palace. There was a boy called Tom Soares and Ben Watson. Both went on to play for Crystal Palace first team.
Right, okay.
And after 30 minutes, I didn't know if it was Wednesday night or Sunday. I honestly didn't have a clue what was going on.
Yeah.
And the manager called me over to say, he goes, when you're going to get the ball, get on the half turn. And I says, what the fuck is the half turn? And he says, do me a favour, go and stand on the sideline.
Yeah.
And that was from here to there within a week. I had no coaching.
Well,
I didn't have any coaching. We went down to the Doyle, you ran around the pitch twice, and then you play a 5-a-side.
100%.
No one ever told me how to take the ball on the half turn, how to look over, none of that.
Yeah.
So you're literally starting from scratch at 15. Them kids have been in them academies from their 8.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's probably, we're only catching up sort of now where people are maybe more interested. Like, I would never crucify somebody back in the day for being a manager or a coach at a young age, because it's some parent who's dedicated the Tuesday night, the Thursday night and the Saturday to take a kid's team, whether it be their sons or their cousins or something. So I would never crucify someone, but technically and stuff like that, it was like, just kick it and run after it, which is good, but it's probably got us a long way. But when, as you say, when you start going into a situation where people are like tactically switched on and technically know how to control a ball, that must have just shocked you.
I was I didn't have any problems. I remember playing in games, and I would come home and my mum would ring me, how'd you get on? I'd be like, I'm not going to be a footballer. And she was like, how do you know? I go, because if this is the standard that they're at
already,
I can't be.
Yeah.
You play in reserve games against certain players, drop them down to get minutes, and you would think, you can't even get in the England team?
Yeah.
He's nowhere near the England team. How good is Steven Gerrard? How good is he? And he's you know, you quickly know. There's levels, just complete levels of football. And I do this. I think it's amazing. We all sit on Twitter and social media and like slander players, like crap. Like I'm an Arsenal fan. Every time I played against Theo Walcott, he scored 4. And then I'd be watching Arsenal and going, "Get him off! He's rubbish."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Do you like you? I just find that, and it's great. I think that's it's part of it. It's part of being football fans. As you sit there and you call everybody rubbish who's a million trillion times better than you would ever imagine being. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it was it was an eye opener.
To really see, you've moved to London. London's obviously a big city anyway. So everything is going to be different. Like, as you say, you've come up in like this wee bubble in the short stand. Same as like me being from on the road. You're just used to your home conference. And it is very homely, the areas that you're in. But what's it like for someone to be taken out of that home comfort, be put in a position where they're now mentally not wanting to be somewhere? Like, why did no one ever give you advice to be like you can leave? It might be better for you.
Listen,
do you know what I mean?
The amount of times I went home, like you've absolutely no idea how mental my time at Millwall was. Like, no one does. The amount of times I was home, sent home, flew home without them knowing, give up. They always come back. They always try to get me counselling. Always trying to be fair, like, the people that was around me were good people. It just got a bit messy over a certain situation that could never be resolved. Someone asked, the guy asked me on the last podcast, how come you didn't make it? And I told him, I'm not ashamed. I wasn't good enough. I talked to some people that's been away and they beat around the bush. It's almost like they're ashamed to say, I wasn't good enough. I wasn't good enough. But I seen something online the other day where a guy was at West Ham and he had done a post about he could have made it but for the politics at West Ham Academy, and he got abused on the comments, all the old politics in the academy. And it got me thinking, I wasn't good enough to make it. But what I endured was unbelievable also. Right? Like, I was made to clean the changing rooms consistently on days off. Paddy 1 and Paddy 2, these are going to go and clean the changing rooms. Paddy 1 and Paddy 2, these are going to go over there and do that. Paddy 1, Paddy 2, you aren't going to the Millwall West Ham game, which is like Celtic Rangers. You aren't doing that, you are going to go here. It was like, you would never ever get away with it now. Like, just some of the things that done, it was just insane. But I got moved digs to this woman's house who was well known for abusing boys that stayed with her.
Right.
That's kind of where all the problems started.
Okay. Take your time. So did they know about this? Do you think that when you look at the politics of the club and maybe how this is two young kids moving across from Ireland, but to put you in that house, was this a well-known thing? That
put me in a house with a girl that she had previous, because everyone at the club knew it.
Okay.
And it was happening while I was there. And then we had a guy at the club called Dave Tuttle. He was a player. And he would come into me every day and say, are you still at her? Is she still at you?
Right. Take your time.
At 16. We found out, me and the boys found out that he was at her and the bullying that he put me through over that was unreal.
Right.
If I was going into the training ground, there'd be before training even started, he would say, so this was like coming up to Christmas and stuff, anything, but like I'm not getting into all the details of it, but like an example would be there was 12 boys going in to train. You'd say there's 8 boys doing head tennis and 4 boys are running. I wouldn't even have to check the board if I was running. He'd bring me in on my own. Day off and snow, he'd bring me in on my own and make me run around a 40 by 40 grid for hours to try and break me. And he never did. Never ever did. Wouldn't allow him. But I'd go home and I'd cry myself to sleep, but I would never let him think that he got you. And he ended up becoming assistant manager, and that's when everything like kind of fell apart. There was a guy, Jeff, who ended up became the chairman, and he actually had a really, really soft spot for me, really good soft spot for me. I think he just seen me as a wee rogue, and kind of took me under his wing. And even he started to hate me, and he was really close with this woman.
Right.
But just like that's what I mean. Like I have no problem saying like I wasn't good enough, but some of the things that went on was just, it was like absolutely crazy, crazy. And like,
and you're 16 at this stage.
Yeah.
Like
this all started when I was around 16, maybe just coming 17. She was doing that kind of stuff in the house when we were there. She was known for doing it. All the players would ask, previous players that had stayed there, really famous players that had stayed there, and there'll be no names mentioned, but they all went through this too.
Yeah. And she just scot-free
was
was able to...
Not a secret. She was well in with like that guy, Jeff. And Toots started having an affair on his way with her, and this is how bad it would be. She would drive, he was rinsing her for everything she had. He was a mad gambler, and she would bring me to the betting shop at the end of our road, a big bag of cash, and she would say, go and leave that in behind the counter. They know who used to get it. And I knew it was him. Mm-hmm. She was on the phone one night, and all this lovey-dovey stuff, and we went down and checked the phone. It was his number. You know, we knew for a fact, but he absolutely harassed me for years and years, every day, coming in and questioning me every day. Every day. It was tough.
I mean, that sort of abuse, like, mentally as a kid who's just moved away at that age, to have to endure that as even a 16, 17-year-old boy's criminal.
Yeah, it was brutal. And then...
No wonder you didn't want to play football.
Yeah, but mate, the football was just one thing. See the drinking that led to and everything else. Like,
but no wonder.
Yeah, we were drinking. I was drinking maybe 4 or 5 nights a week. Got that bad that we were actually going to play Crystal Palace, and they were like, "You two need to stay on the bus. We're going to breathalyze you here." And we filled the breathalyzer, and they said, "You two need to sit on the bus until the game's over." So you get there an hour and a half before the match. And we had to sit on the bus for the entire time. But we're drinking that much that we're bringing breathalyzers into the training ground. Mate, it was absolutely chaotic.
But see, at this stage, like, if people are going to the extent of trying to breathalyze you, there's a problem.
Yeah.
At what stage do you go, oh, this is normal, we'll just buy breathalyze 2 kids who clearly have a drink problem, but there's a reason behind stuff like that? Like, at what stage people think there has to be something that we can do here, or we have to try and get to the bottom of this problem instead of just smoothing over the crack and giving you a breathalyzer and telling you to sit there for 4 hours?
You know what? I don't know what the crazy gang was like. You know, the Wimbledon thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Millwall was absolutely insane. It was like, you couldn't have put me in the worst place.
Yeah.
It was like, honestly, the things that you seen in that training ground, the things that you seen outside of the training ground, it was just, see, for a kid, I came back mangled. I didn't even know what the price and all was, but I was mangled.
Yeah. Looking back on that, it's very easy to say that.
Mangled, my head was melted for years. It was honestly like people say, people ask me what I hated it every minute of it. Every minute, honestly.
I have to agree with you here, but I think that if anybody was in that situation, Joe,
Yeah.
it'd
I did. I hated it. I hated every minute of it. I genuinely don't know why I just didn't go home. Do you know what I mean? I don't know why I didn't go home. I know, but I should have went home quicker. And I didn't.
Do you think though that whenever you did go home that you didn't want to, like, other side, say slice it in two here, you go home, everybody's in the short strand, and they're thinking, oh, Joe McDonnell's at Millwall, he's doing really well, he's brilliant, and X, Y, and Z, he's a footballer, and everybody wants to be a footballer, or your mates.
I think it was more my mum. You know, like my mum would be like, "Come on, you can do this." I didn't want to let her down. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of just you dig your heels in and you stay. But I knew at the end of them 2 weeks that I was there, I was like, this is not what I want to do with my life. I don't want to do this. And I would sleep all day after training, and then I would walk the streets of London on like 5 in the morning, get in, go to train.
Jeez.
That's why I don't really give like that much of a shit about being a footballer. It's not a big deal.
If anything, you don't want to deter the kid from doing what he wants to do, but at the same time,
I bring him once a week and say, if you're not enjoying this, come home.
yeah.
It's not a big deal.
The only thing is he seems to be really...
He's complete opposite to me. Complete opposite.
This is what I'm saying. At the start, and I think it was supposed to be last night, and I had it wrote down questions that to the extent of what you just said there, I would have never knew unless you told me here, but there's probably no better person to be able to guide their own son.
Well, fingers crossed.
Hopefully we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Fuck. Ready? Do you need our bottle of Mason? We can do that. Right, Millwall. Let's move past Millwall. Jesus. That got me, man. So you make it 2 years, 3 years?
You're back for 4?
4?
Yeah, I went over a year early. Stayed there when I was 15. And then signed this 3-year deal reserve for the 3 years. I came home and had completely jacked it. But our kid, Seamus, he was at Glentoran at the time. Okay. And then they reached out to me and says, why don't you come up? So I was up there training, and you know what? I remember going in there, and you remember people? I had a soft spot for Glentoran whenever I was growing up. I don't know what that was about. Right. I would have been like...
Just the wall, that big wall there which separates you from the other side of
had like
short
a
stand.
spot for Glentoran, and I had like a Gary Hamilton Bebo wallpaper. Swear to God. And so... And then I went up to train with him, and Sean Ward was there, Big Lockie was there, and Gary Hamilton had just been signed, Peter McCann, all them boys, and you know what? I actually thought I was flying at that stage.
Okay.
I was so happy. And then Dundee came in, and they were like, come over for 6 months. And I was talking to doing that.
Right.
So Wendy he had offered me a deal, and you know what? I think his assistant at the time was a guy called Andy. And they told me what they were offering me and stuff. And I was like, right, dead along. And then Dundee came in and I went there. I remember getting to Dundee and was in a hotel. I went from London. London was a brilliant place.
Was warm?
Yeah.
The one thing was
like a cracking city. And I strolled there.
Yeah.
And I went to Dundee. I don't know if you've been to Dundee, but it's like going back to the 1600s.
But I don't ever think I'll step foot in Dundee, but...
And I was like, why am I here?
Yeah.
There was another wrong choice. And then I came home and I was like, that threw me again back into the slope of just drinking, done with football, so didn't do anything for a bit. And then Peter Murray landed at my door. Somebody had tipped him off that it was home, drinking, not playing football. He came to me and said he was at Newry, would I go down and just see how I felt. And that was that. I went down, I think played Derry in a friendly. And they said, Jerry Flynn said to me, we're going to sign you and we're going to give you £100 a week. And if you stick it out for 10 games, we'll renegotiate. And that was it. So basically from that period of time, I never finished. I think I was about 19.
Okay.
1920, whenever I signed for Newry. I never played another full season of football.
With
anyone.
But in regards to that, is it injuries?
No, I just I would never ever see a full season out with anyone.
Right.
So I'd be like convincing myself that I needed to play football. You know, like people would talk to you and say, "Oh, you need to play. Why are you not playing?" And you go, "Right, I'll jump back in with this."
Mm.
And then come a few months in, I'd be like, done with this.
Yeah.
So the time at Newry, I actually really enjoyed. Played well through at that time. And then Jerry Flynn was ringing me every week. "You're my main man, you're my main man, you're my main man." And all I wanted was more money to drink. That's all I wanted. I don't know, like, see if you see any pictures of me from playing at Newry. I think I was about 7 stone. I would drink Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and probably have 2 meals throughout that time. All I wanted was more money to drink. If Jerry had offered me any more money, I'd have stayed.
Yeah.
But he said he couldn't do anything, and then Tommy Reid had been in touch a few times, and he actually said, "I'm going to bring you to Ballymena and make you my highest paid player."
Right.
And I was really excited to work under Tommy. I'll be honest, like I was like, "Fuck, give this a shot." But if I'm going to be honest, it was probably more to do with a few quid here, and I can drink more, I can party more.
Your move to Ballymena was strictly solely in regards to I'll get more money.
I'll get more money to go and drink, yeah.
At this stage, I know, like, again, I don't want to bang on about it, but obviously today's day and age, it's very out there. Mental health, drink, gambling, addictions, all this sort of stuff. Did you think that there was a problem?
No.
Back then, do you just think,
I
I
just
just love going out, have a bit of crack with my mates? And
Just go out, and that's the only way to enjoy your life. Just go out and drink as much as you could, stay out as much as you could. Like I'd go out on a Saturday and not sleep, and I wasn't working. As long as I was home for Monday night, or as long as I was home for Tuesday morning, got a couple of hours sleep before I went to training on Tuesday night, I was me.
And you were able to function throughout the week doing this? Like, did it get to that stage where you're built up as tolerance to...
Yeah, I mean, and see, the maddest thing about it is, see doing this, for them 6 months at Newry, I was flying, like genuinely flying. And I remember coming back, I fell asleep in Jerry's car. He did X5 at the time. I was in the middle seat in the back, and I woke up and went, "Ah." And Peter Murray turned around to me and said, "Son," and this is when I knew people started to realise what was going on. He says, "See, whatever you're taking, you need to really reduce it, or you need to think about coming off it." And
Right.
It's difficult times. Really was.
Good time, you're right.
Such a waste of a life living like that, you know.
So see at this stage where you're... But say this thing's went so well for 6 months, and somehow you're able to perform at the standard you're still able to perform at, which is, I don't really know why I say it's a fuck credit to yourself or it's mental,
Yeah.
but for somebody to be able to continue to do what you were doing, perform at a high level every week, and then these people who have given you this, I wouldn't say a lifeline, it's not a lifeline, you're still a young kid, but start to recognise that there's obviously something more to it. Does that affect you more than at that stage, or do you think, like, does it kind of hit home at all?
No. The thing about it is that I signed the pre-contract with Tommy in January. Jerry found out, says, "You're not to be back. You're not to come anywhere near the club." And then in the last game of the season, the Irish League season, either Lee or Colin Feeney had messaged me and says, "Tommy Reid is going to Norwich." And I was like, no way. And I was like, I've made another wrong choice.
Yeah.
Because even though, like, regardless of what happened at Newry, I think Jerry managed me well. Jerry and Minto were brilliant for me because they knew what I was like. I never missed training, ever. I didn't miss training. I was just drinking, but I never missed training. I never missed training for anyone I played for.
Yeah.
Never ever missed training. And when I turned up, I gave it my best. But I got the ball. I walked in the first day in Ballymena. I walked in and just went, I've made a horrendous mistake here. I hadn't even spoke to Roy Walker, and he called me into his office and says, "You're on too much money. I want you to go. I can bring 2 players in, and you're not getting your signing on fee." And I was expecting a kid, and I was just like, "No,
That's not how it
that
is.
is not happening." And that was it. And to be fair, my time at Ballymena was a shambles. I didn't play well at all. It was horrific. It's actually sad to think of how shit you were. Do you know what I mean? It was actually traumatic to think of how shite. 6 months previously, I actually thought I was doing extremely well. And 6 months later, it was like your world was falling apart. You were just shite. And it was sad, but I couldn't walk away. It kept offering me like teams were coming in wanting to take me on loan. And he was saying to me, and I was like, no. All I wanted to do was drink.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a job. And he kept saying to me, get a job. And I was like, can I hold down a job?
Yeah.
I literally going out on a Saturday night and not coming home to Tuesday or Wednesday. Like that was every single week. I couldn't hold down a job, so it was like, it was just another wrong decision. And it got really toxic at Ballymena to the point where he was just like, don't even, because I was getting money if I was in the squad, not even like on the bench, you know what I mean? And he was just like, just don't come anywhere near training ground. 2 years. I just drove down last Saturday to collect my money and away I went, which was no good again, because that just gave me even more. Didn't have to be home on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Didn't have to be home. Could just go and drink all week. So it was another bad choice going to Ballymena. It would have been interesting to see if Tommy had stayed, if anything would have changed. Probably not, but it would have been interesting.
Yeah. But I think that there would be more of a potential that, considering that's who you've signed for. So you've went and met Tommy, you've had the conversations, you put your trust in him, you've signed. That's who's going to be your manager. And whenever that gets ripped from you, and your first conversation with someone is that you're on too much money and they don't want you there.
That was it. That was the very first conversation.
And what are you supposed to do from that situation? Because you're kind of like, you're batting at a wall there. Like, do you know what I mean?
It was funny because on Saturday it was 2008, the 11th of October. I hate that number too. We Ballymena beat Linfield 2-0. I think that was the last game. I actually played well that day. I think it was maybe the last game, or one of the last games I ever played in the Irish League. I ended up doing a wee sort of stint at the distillery, and then that came crashing down through drink issues as well. But that was probably one of the last games I played. 2008. It's embarrassing. Like, even I just hate talking about football. You know what I mean? It's shocking.
I think there's definitely a bigger picture than the football side of things, and I think this is probably, like, it's not what I expected when you came on, that it was going to be like, because I've known you outside of football, and the person that I've always known was like very well sheltered in terms of, I would have never expected. You've obviously had to put a mask on and get by. And,
you do that well, don't you?
And everybody does. And I think that looking from the outside of it, you kind of, not that I could have made a difference, but you kind of think, you wish you'd have knew sooner.
Yeah. What, I don't know, like, what does people do? Like, you don't talk about stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? You don't. And you know what really bugs me about people really mean well when they say, like, just go to your mates and have a chat. Listen, this was never going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I know they mean well and just open up and take your mate for a coffee and stuff, but I needed counselling. I didn't.
Oh, you needed something more than a friend.
Yeah, I needed, like, really, I needed strong counselling. And I went to loads of counsellors and spun lies, and then they bought it, and I'd leave. Just like, if they can't grasp it, that's bullshit, then I'm out of here. And then I got a guy, and he was absolutely fantastic.
Before you go any further, I want to touch on the counselling side of things. Now you brought it up, but in terms of counselling, in terms of the situation that you're in, at what stage do you realise that you need help? Does somebody notice close to you to kind of say, Joe, you kind of need to do this now, and you want to try and get you?
No, I think you just, you know what, and like for everything in life, if you want to change something, it has to come from you. Do you know what I mean? It's like, Jesus, like I was hurting so many people, including myself, but like I was hurting so many people too, and everything was breaking down around me. My relationships, I was a shocking dad. Nothing was going well, and it's like, yeah, something has to drastically change here. And yeah, it was like single-handedly one of the best things I've ever did was go counselling. It's difficult at the start, but by the end, it is life changing. You know, it's like and what he said to me is like, in America, the go counselling just like it's the gym.
That's one thing that I don't get.
Yeah, they just go counselling, and now it's like
talk about it,
and you can see why.
Yeah,
you know, like you do leave. There's a lot of tears shed and stuff, but you do leave, and it's like, I really needed that.
Yeah,
you know, and then you're back again the next week, but you go places that like, flip me, you never thought that's where this was stemming from. Do you know what I mean? So a lot of issues, like obviously dad wasn't about when you were young and stuff, and that's a whole new route to go down, but there was things that was brought up that you get to the bottom of, and you're sitting there completely overwhelmed in a room for an hour, and you learn a lot about yourself. And yeah, it was like when people ask me, I was just like, go and see a counsellor. Go and see a counsellor. And I'd done it recently to a guy, and he reached out to me and just was, thank you so much for that and whatever else. And it does really help. And I just think the message sometimes of just chatting to your mate, like I could never have just chatted to my mates about this stuff ever. And they're like, I have really good friends.
You probably have friends
I have
since
really
you
good
were
friends.
a kid.
Really,
Days, probably.
Really good friends. I actually feel quite lucky because I think I've got a load of good friends. I've got like football friends and childhood friends and new friends from where I've lived for a while. So I feel blessed to have so many friends, but I would never have went to my friends and opened up about this stuff. I like needed to speak to a counsellor.
Is it something that you would speak to him about now?
Yeah, because I'm in a different place. Do you know what I mean? I think once you go through that and you see the benefits it has for you, then I'm not the same person I was then. Do you know what I mean? I'm not.
No, 100%.
Like, so you're kind of, everything's different. I'm much more like, I had no self-confidence, none at all. People would have seen me like maybe on social media and stuff, and I none, no self-confidence at all. I'm a wee bit more confident now, but I'm not like, I'm not filled with it, but I'm confident enough to talk about stuff that I wouldn't have done before. Or
you're confident enough to come on here, sure.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, I didn't do it the last time, and I thought I maybe did a disservice because a lot of people are so upset that their kids don't go away.
In terms of football,
yeah. So like football parents, oh, my child didn't get away.
No.
I'm like,
kids aren't good enough.
Maybe not good enough, right? Maybe just unlucky or whatever. But me, so much can go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know tons of boys that went away, that became addicted to gambling, drink, whatever. Large parts of their lives ruined because they went away.
I mean, you don't even have to go away to become addicted. There's plenty of people in the Irish League that came out now and said, we worked a 9 to 5 and spent all our money on gambling. Like, do you know what I mean? Same as drinks, same as drugs.
But there's so many boys I know went away, and just because of the boredom and the loneliness and the homesickness, so many bad habits, and 99 times out of 100 it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
And the kids are home 3 or 4 years later with a lot of problems and a lot of baggage.
There's a stupid stat, isn't it, that goes around and says like there's 3% of people who set out to be pros are
absolutely crazy. And I look and I go like, all right, your kid didn't get away. I said, but mine's did, right? You can get to see your child every day.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Get to go and see him, go and watch him play, take him out for food, go for a coffee, do all that class stuff that we can't do. I said, like, just look at it a different way. You are actually so lucky to go and do all that stuff. And like the majority of these kids will probably be home. Mm-hmm. And by the time they come home, they're men and they don't want to be around their dads anymore. So we've missed out on that wee special few years, you know what I mean? So it's I suppose it's whatever way you look at it, but it's football's just, it's just not the end of the world. And I don't really like being involved even in the circles of football anymore. I love going to watch my wee lad, but just actually getting away from it was the best thing that I ever did, because it really stopped becoming football. It was just an opportunity to get together with 15, 16 other men and drink myself to oblivion every week.
I completely agree. There's nothing better when you're in a team, on the team night it comes and everybody's ready to go and it's a full squad. Yeah. But if that's happening for you on the regular, it's a different kettle of fish.
My whole life was falling apart just through my actions, but it was drink. Like every single. So one of the things I did was I actually wrote down like massive things that went wrong in my life that I had done, and every single time drink was involved. Every single time.
Is this something that you done when you were with a counsellor?
No, I just done it myself.
Right, okay.
I just done it myself. It was like,
did that gear you towards thinking,
I need to really reduce the amount I drink, and I need to like consider stopping. Do you know what I mean? So I've done my best to like do that. And when you do it, like people say to me, "Are you going for a beer?" I'm like, "I'm trying to stay off it." They're like, "It's only a few beers," and I'm like, "If only you knew."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You might be able to go and have a few beers, but I can't. Like some way on that drinking session managed to almost ruin my life every single time.
You just get into that old slipstream and you're just like, I'm just back those.
Some of my mates go and have beers and they don't change. Just sit there and have a laugh. That's not me. That's not me. And it's like, well, where is this going?
And then the next morning it's like, what devastation, little like.
Yeah, every single time. It's crazy.
At what age did you start focusing on counselling? Like, just to give people sort of like a in hindsight here, like.
I'm not sure. Like, I reached out a lot, early 20s, and just couldn't get anywhere.
But see, in terms of your early 20s, and you've reached out, what do you think it was that failed?
My ability to be truthful.
So were you going?
People go counselling and don't even tell the truth.
Just lie.
Yeah, it's just so hard to go in there and tell the truth.
But is it like
so hard
defense mechanism? Is it to be like, I'm actually fine, or
no? I think it's shame.
Right.
They'll go in and they're hoping to give snippets. They're hoping to give snippets of their problems.
I don't want to give away too much.
Don't want to give away like too much. And shame is sitting across from somebody. Ultimately, does this person know somebody that knows me? Just as like, who is this person?
Can this sort of get back to someone?
Yeah, I think it's being truthful. And that was the best thing that happened to me when I went counselling. The guy, I actually told him, he asked me like some questions and I told him the answers. And he says, I'm going to go downstairs. And he says, when I come back up, you can tell me the truth or you can continue to lie. Mm-hmm.
Right.
And he says, I can only help you if you tell the truth. And that was it.
Is that what you needed? I know you're saying about like Wolves at the time. Wolves had to give you that sort of structure for you to.
Yeah.
Him saying that you follow piece up.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, the fuck about it, you don't fuck about it now type thing.
Yeah. And I knew then that and that's always why I left before, because he always like spun on my yarn, and then they kind of bought it. They just went, "Oh, I'm not wasting my time here," because it's just bullshit. Even though it was my fault, it was bullshit. But he called me out on it, and then I had so much respect for him, and I stuck it out. And I think where I'm at now, Jesus, nobody's perfect, right? But everything is improving. You're a better dad. You're a better partner. Your everything has changed, and that ultimately came from counselling. That was like the number one thing that changed my life.
How did you come across this guy?
I don't know. I actually have no idea.
Do you ever think that something like that was put, somebody like that was put in front of you for like a reason?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You need. I just have no idea. I think in a panic and like just crying, endless crying. I went in on my phone and like Googled counsellors near me, and this place came up, and I went into that place, and again there was a woman that came to speak to me and spun her around and left, and he actually phoned and says, "I want you to come back down here and see me," and that was it. And he'd said that to me, and had like 12 weeks with him. I think I had 12 weeks, and he actually extended it for 3. I think I had 15 weeks in total with him, and it was absolutely amazing. It's just like really, you know what? It was that good and that life changing that it's actually what I would love to do now.
Right.
That would be like sort of a life goal for me would be to become a counsellor. I've toyed with the idea of going back and studying and stuff and whatever else.
Wasn't that the first thing you went back and studied?
Yeah. No. Just never do enough, can you? Like, never learn enough. It keeps you busy and keeps you out of your own head and everything else. So, but that, you know what, I would really love to do it, because I think when you do something that, when you see the impact it has, then you believe in something. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like when you've been changed, or not changed, but when something has helped your life so much, you know that it can help somebody else, and it's like you really believe in it and buy into it. And I think, yeah, I just like the places on its knees everywhere, isn't it? Everyone's struggling.
I just think that I think your story is obviously unique. I think the likes of the people that you've had on, the likes of Orange Smith, who's been the opposite, it's more drug related. And you have Guy Hamilton, who's obviously talked about trying to commit suicide and kill himself, and you're sitting going like, these are people in the Irish League who there is no help. There's a chaplaincy.
Yeah.
But I mean, let's be honest, how many people speak to the chaplain?
Yeah.
Like, you see the chaplain there and you kind of like, dead on, mate, cracker.
I always thought, years ago, why is there nobody that is designated to talk to kids that are coming home from England? So you're kind of, even as like a kid, and I know it sounds ridiculous, but you got to remember, they're kids, and they're put on a pedestal from their friends and stuff. And it's like, if you're a footballer, then they come home and it's like they end up working in the same place as their mates. And it's a massive impact in their lives.
But some of them, like, and I remember, like, we Jack Patterson, we were Crusaders, and he was going to Everton, and I remember him saying how much he was getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting going, I'm working full-time job and getting paid good screw cruise, and you're making more money than me, and you're going to Everton, and you're 17, and I mean, kids, brilliant, it's phenomenal, do you know what I mean? But at the same time, like, that's the, like, most people work a full-time job and don't earn that. No, you're earning that at 18, so if you don't elevate yourself, like, you're coming back to reality check to go, I'm on 20 grand a year, 22 grand a year, starting off to go to Tesco's and stack shelves or do something, and you're going, whoa.
But you know, so if you got a toothache, you phone the club, and the club would say, we'll get a dentist in. If you get sick, you phone the club, and the club say, we'll get the doctor in. If you need a lift, you phone the club, and the club sent the bus driver to get you. You come home, and you have to. I remember the first time coming home and having to phone the doctors to make an appointment. I couldn't do it.
I'm not going to lie to you. I still don't do it. My man does.
Do you know what I mean? I was sitting saying, please pick up the phone and do that. So,
no, 100%.
You got to learn how to.
I only need moisturiser for shade skin, but I wouldn't phone the doctor. I'd phone my man and go, here, any chance you order a script for me? And she'd do it.
It's like you come home and you've just no life skills whatsoever.
Yeah.
You know, and even to be then going to a working environment, you're with, let's say, 50 men every day, and it's boisterous.
Oh, wow, it's mad.
It's mad.
It is.
There's no limits. Do what you want, say what you want, and then you're put in the workplace.
That's how where you have to strip it all back and try and fall in the line with HR.
Yeah.
There's no HR.
No.
Well, there is probably, but HR doesn't exist in football.
Everything was a struggle. Coming back, everything was a struggle. And even my first job, I was like, just get to the middle of May, and then I'll get a break. It's like, Actually, that doesn't happen.
No, I don't get
You know what I
it.
mean? I don't get the summer. I don't get the summer off. I was like, just get the middle of May, and I've got a break. And I was like, oh, Jesus, it's all year round.
Yeah, become a teacher, you're right. Talk to me about now, because do you know what? I had a list of questions.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we've fucking answered any questions, but at the same time, I don't think we need to. But talk to me now. You talked there very much so about potentially wanting to be a counsellor, right? You've went back studying. You became a part of that ECA. I know Big Paddy, he was on talking about it. What sort of good has that done for you? Because I remember years ago you had put out a thing that you wanted to be a PT and you never used it.
Yeah,
done it.
I came in 2007. I done the PT course, and see, to be a PT, genuinely, you have to be on it. It's exhausting in turn. You're going in and dealing with people, and it's not the job that many people think it is.
Okay.
If you're coaching elite athletes or people that want to go in and progressively overload and train amazingly all the time, you're doing so well.
Yeah.
But for the majority of people that you're coaching,
it's a fight.
Yeah.
Right.
Just even getting them to train is hard. Motivating them to turn up is hard. Listening to their problems. Like the place that I was in 2007, 2008, I could never have done this. I tried it for a couple of months. I was like, how am I supposed to stand in front of somebody and be positive when my life is a train wreck?
Yeah.
So it didn't last too long. The one thing that's always saved me is exercise.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I look at people and I just think, if you exercise, you would change your life. And it's so, like, I don't want to be, like, I'm not that type of PT. I'm not on social medias doing all that, getting in and out of cold water and slow, sad music. It's not right. It's not what I want to do. And I don't want to come.
The new PT.
Yeah, the new PT. I don't
PT.
want to come across.
Okay.
I don't want to come across like that. But actually, like, I've never seen anybody start taking care of themselves, exercising, living a wee bit cleaner, and regretting it.
No.
And I you know what I love seeing? There's a girl, I don't even really know her, but she was on social media the other day, and you want to see the pictures before and after. And she's loving her life at the minute. I'm like, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
It's about taking yourself from one place to the next, and it's all it is exercise.
The amount of confidence that you end up with when you slowly lose a bit of weight and see a difference in yourself.
I was I've never been above 12.5 stone in my life. Right. For the majority, I was probably about 7. I'm just drinking and not eating, but I've never been above 12.5 stone. And during COVID, I had the depths again, bad depression, drinking almost every day, and I was over 15 stone. And me and her was fell out and stuff, and all. I was staying at my brother's house, and I was back up in the house one day, and Noah was coming down the stairs, and he was like, I don't want to see you like this again. That day, went out a run, started to train. That was it.
Just that wee switch helps you, like,
that was it.
It doesn't have to be a counsellor, it can just be somebody in the house.
He's just like, don't want to see you like this again. And you just get your shit together.
It's good that you have that, though. Like, I think that, especially probably where he's coming from, he's at a position where he's playing, he's wanting to be active, he's wanting to be fit, and then he knows that you've been there and done it. So,
yeah. You know what? It's like,
and it seems to be a competition. Like, from the stuff that gets put up on social media, he seems to be competitive with his old man.
But you know what? It's like, and this is what I'm trying to do at the minute. You're just trying to show your kids that you don't have to do them things. There's more to life than drink. You know what I mean? He doesn't drink, and I'm so proud of him for, like, him being his own person. But I can sit and tell him, don't be drinking. This doesn't do it. But while I sit and slug 14 pints every weekend, or else you can go, you know what? Show you.
But you know what? Speaking of PTs, I always thought to myself, like, PTs have to practice what they preach. See, if I know there's probably heavy PTs that go out there and want to be a PT, and they're probably very educated and very good. But if I go to somebody and I want to lose weight, and the guy's 17 stone and he's fat, and he's telling me to lift the weight, I'm like, practice what you preach.
No, I absolutely get that. And you know what? It's almost, I agree with you, but I remember doing my course back in 2007 and see the guy with all the knowledge in our class, he just wasn't in good shape.
Yeah.
And he knew everything. He had all the knowledge, but you know the way the world works, his pictures on the gym wall,
yes,
people aren't going to go to him.
that's what I'm saying. You want results. It's a results-based industry, isn't it? Where
and even the social media thing with PTs, some PTs you'll click onto their profile, and if it's a good-looking fella, you'll have 50,000 followers, and there might be somebody that's not so good-looking, unbelievable PT, and you just won't have the followers.
Yeah,
that's the world you're in.
Then again, it also depends. I very much agree with you in terms of like social media and how you have to bridge the gap and put yourself in a position where you need to be vulnerable. Like me starting this, I'm on my knee and I'm sitting in a hospital bed thinking my career's probably over and I need to do something. And if I don't bite the bullet here and put myself out, and most people who are PTs, I don't know where the confidence comes from, but some people are so confident themselves. And I wouldn't. Like, I'm a confident person talking to my mates in terms of standing up in front of people and having conversations with a big group of people. Yeah, get me to the back. Do you know what I mean? You just crack on here and I'll sit in my own wee daydream. Like,
well, you would never think it.
No, well, true. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? But in terms of some other people, like these people put cameras up and have lights, and I was like, going for a parade of you.
No, you know what? You kind of admire people for doing it because it does take an awful lot of effort. You know, like and Spice Eater Grow, like now they have to do that if they're like just PTing and not working for anyone. They have to do that. But I just think that there's a beauty in just being a trainer that doesn't do any of that and has like saves all their energy for the gym floor. And I think maybe frowned upon now that some people just want to do that, but gym owners are just so busy with everything else. I don't care what any of them say. They don't have the same energy for their gym floor. And if they just employed people that just could turn up and put all their energy into it and then leave, it leaves them and to do the social medias and do
allow to build their own brand or whatever they need. Yeah. In terms of you being a PT, is this something that you're looking to do as a part-time thing on the side?
Just part-time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I love my job. I get people with disabilities into work and it is absolutely amazing. I would it would take an awful lot for me to leave that job to do anything. It's a great job. Great people that I work with. I would have no interest in leaving that job.
Fair. I mean, if you find something that's that road, especially with all these bad decisions that you've made, you're in a grass isn't always green.
Yeah, exactly. every choice, every single choice throughout. I don't say I hate that word career because I didn't have a career, but my football journey was the wrong choice. Always the wrong choice. And you know what? It's kind of where you needed somebody. You needed a father figure to steer you in the right direction and say, this needs to stop. Yeah. You need to think about this or you need to do that. And I don't tell Noah what to do. I don't tell him what to do. I just tell him what I done. And I say, and he rang me a couple of weeks ago about something. And I said, I made enough wrong decisions. So you go and speak to your agent and you figure out what you should do. I says, because ultimately you have to live with it. Yeah. And I am not living with any more choices because I've made enough bad ones. So
do you feel like it's nice though that you have that connection where he feels comfortable enough coming to you for the answers? Because that's that you've never had.
I wouldn't have. See, when my dad was around, see if I needed 50p to go to youth club, I wouldn't have asked him.
Okay.
I wouldn't have asked him. Best feeling that I have is when Noah sends me something that he wants. Or he rings me off a hook for a lift.
You mean?
I need you to come and pick me up from here.
I need a new pair of Predator.
Without batting an eyelid, he'd be like, come and pick me up from here. And I love that. Because I would never ever have asked my dad to do anything for me. And that's where I know that he's comfortable with me. And that's so important to me.
Must be such a different feeling considering everything that you've been through to have somebody just, he's my person.
Yeah, he's it. That's it. He's my best mate and he always has been.
Got me. I told you I didn't want to f***ing night. You've had me in tears.
It's been tough. It's been tough.
That got me because I feel you there. But, look, we're nearly at the end. We're going to end on positives.
Okay.
So, we tried to put out, I know the picture that went out yesterday this and that wasn't for me, I wouldn't have done that day.
Mate, don't worry about it. I was cutting my own hair and all. I mean, I was trying to grow it out and cutting it with kitchen scissors. And as I said, I was drinking 5 nights a week. I think we would 6 stone in that picture. So, you know what? It's
Do you know what? You've aged.
funny.
You would have had to have aged a wee bit better than that. Like, but
Oh, God.
but yes, Alan put the photo out yesterday, so a lot of people did messages being like, "You killed him," but what Tristan put out there wasn't me.
That's funny. Don't worry.
There is probably better ones out there, but we put out to try and do a couple of quests.
Okay.
So this is the first time we've done it, and we have got a few back, right? So there's 4.
Okay.
Should be a bit of crack.
Okay.
Hopefully we can answer these, and it won't kill you any further, right? So I'll start with your time at Lisburn Distillery. A good friend of yours, wee Bingy, shared a bit of time with you, and he says to ask you about the time your manager at the time wanted money for a carry-out.
Money for here. That was the mentalist. See, all the stuff we talked about. Okay, I still it was the mentalist that never happened to me.
Right.
Like you'd be in the middle of a shooting session, and all you would hear is clink, 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 clink. The kit man coming across. You're about to shoot. And what are you doing? He goes, I have to bring all these beers over to Tommy. Tommy's sitting in the road tent.
Ten of
Biscuits. Like, what's going on?
in the middle of
I was looking a few quid for a carry-out.
Who was this at the time?
Tommy Kincaid.
Tommy.
Madman. Utter madman.
So he did stop his ashes for a few calls.
Oh, aye.
For Brilliant.
Oh,
Wasn't having the balls today, I hear, lads. I'm going to pay you here.
he would just say, I don't anybody have any parties at the weekend. They'd be like, oh, you know, is there any spare beers left? Everybody would just turn up with all these like, 2 things S and 2 tins of that, and he'd take it home. Juiced in ag for radio.
Fair dues. Right. Nura,
Yeah.
you prank phone call somebody.
A lot.
Who was the best one? I think it was Flinner.
No, Kipman.
Oh, right, okay.
Tommy Kipman.
Right.
Phoned him up on a juiced on a Friday night.
Okay.
And matching all the next day. That was a smart thing to do on
Yep.
it. And rang him up and says it was Dickie Clark. It's Dickie here. I need you to go down and get my moles from a tree. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning. I need you to bring him for me.
Did you get it?
Oh, he's down. He's down the training ground. But that was tortured, Jerry. Tortured.
Yeah.
And then, like, I look back and think, I wasn't that bad. You know what I mean? At the time, I was going, I wasn't that bad. And then you sort of think, what the f*** are you doing?
2 o'clock
That's
in the morning,
the manager, like, do you know what I mean? And I tortured her.
2
Tortured
o'clock in the morning.
tortured him. Frank, he didn't know what happened with Jerry. We played like a 3-5-2,
Okay.
something along those lines, and he changed it. We were like top of the league, we were flying, and he changed the formation, tried something new, and I was like, what the fuck was that? So I blocked later on that night. I was like, it's somebody from some newspaper. I just want to talk to you about this formation you played today. What were you thinking? Tell me. I just went, McDonnell, I know this is you. I know this is you. I'm gonna rip your head off. I see you choose. And I went down the street and I forgot all about it.
Yeah.
I was just like, get in here.
So good though.
I was brilliant. And you know what? I was brilliant times. Really good change around.
Do you know the thing is too? I think like those times I say where it is a bit of fun, everybody will look back on that. If you have a conversation and you meet him in the street and you say about that, he'll be like, "That's fucking hilarious."
Yeah. No, so, you know what it was? It was a great time.
It
was a good changing room. A few rockets in it, the 2 Finnies, myself, Pidgey. It was complete bad news for us. Was drink. Big Tony Anderson and then some really good pros. You know who was a really good pro? Wee Fergie.
Right.
I think Stephen Ferguson. Brilliant pro.
Yeah.
Brilliant person. Like in the change room, stuff just very quiet, but just went about his business.
Tony Anderson like? Because Tony's been like I've known Tony for quite a while, but I've never known him in terms of football. But
Tony would just be kind of the equivalent of like a Kevin Braniff. Me and Kevin Braniff are just really, really good friends, but Tony is just the type of person that you're just with and you just laugh.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He's just easy going and you just laugh. And like we've always stayed in touch. Don't ring each other all the time or anything, but just always stayed in touch, and he's just a good guy.
He's been torturing me about certain people, and you were the one who's like, get Joe to come.
He's a really good guy.
Kevin, I bumped into Kevin about 3 or 4 weeks ago, went for breakfast, but he's like, we'll have breakfast and not fall on the podcast. And I was like, Kevin, that's fine.
And a lot of the problems with Millwall was Kevin's fault, by the way.
Was
a lot of them.
Blame Kevin?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
He definitely did lead me down.
this bath. You know, he done it with me at Ballymena.
Ah,
Every Saturday and Sunday, it was up to his house.
no, definitely. He would say, "Come on, I'll look after you,"
Then you're away for
and
it.
then you're looking after him.
Right, 2 more. The dragonfly.
Dragonfly. The Dragonfly was a dance, like this mad dance. It was like in a film I used to watch when I was growing up.
Name a film.
I can't remember.
Joe.
It'd be like you know your man Owen Wilson or something.
Yes.
It'd be like one of his films,
Okay.
and I would do it every time it was blocked.
Right.
But it was complete mentalness, and everybody would just look at you. But me and Goldie ended up in the Maverick, the gay bar,
Okay.
and some random Wednesday night or something blitzed. I remember there being like about 14 shots on the bar, and we were just making our way down them all. And he went, "Get up and do the Dragonfly, get up, get up." I was on the stage doing it, started getting booed and all. And then it was about four trans grabbed me, headlock, beat the life out of me, dragged me outside and kicked the plums at me. And he just obviously stayed in and said,
He just thought he's finishing out shots up.
he's not stupid. I assure you.
Oh, that was a good one. The last thing that I want to talk about, right, is because I'll never forget it, and to this day I've no idea what happened or why.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a movement, and there's not many people that get a movement formed about them. But
Was it Thomas Cook, was it?
Thomas Cook, let Joe fly, #free Joe McDonnell. And I was like, just a kid in St. Joe's growing up, and I was like, this is madness. Like, what is this? Like,
Took off.
what's going on? But everybody, like, they were spray painting on walls, #free Joe and all. I was like, is he going to jail? Like, where is he? And then next minute I seen a picture of you coming through the airport, and I was like, still.
But that was just my life. It was just
Where were you?
chaotic.
Because people have said Australia.
My mate,
People
my
said
mate
Spain.
came back from Australia and he was a wee bit depressed, and I says, I'll take you to Turkey for a week. Okay, just me and you. And we went and got absolutely blitzed before the flight
Okay.
and went chaotic on, like, I mean berserk. 2 of us. The pilot sent the air hostess down and said, "You 2 have to stay here. Do not try and get off the plane." And we were trying to sneak off in the middle of everyone. Followed us back. The pilot come down and says, "I've been flying for, say, 22 years. I've done Ibiza many, many times. Never have I endured a flight like this. It's 2 of us."
Right.
And sitting blitz the whole holiday, get a letter through the door from Thomas Cook. "You're barred for life. You'll never fly again with us." My mum was like, "Sort it all out now, try and go and get a flight." No, I just left it. Just left it till the last day. I went, I better try and sort something. So a guy ended up dying.
Right.
Listen, this is a true story. A guy from Bristol jumped in the water and had a heart attack. Right. And I thought during my drunken, chaotic phase that I should go over to his wife and say, if he's not flying home, could I take that flight? And I did. I took his flight.
Did you?
Yeah.
Is that how you get home?
Done a night in Bristol, yeah. Done a night, yeah. Travelled back with his wife, his son, and his girlfriend. Sitting on a taxi like that the whole way there.
Wait.
Yeah. And I genuinely thought stuff like that was normal things to do.
Mate.
I know. That's crazy.
What?
That's I swear to God. Jumped in the water, had a heart attack, and I went over and asked the wife, could I?
God love her, like.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, and she said, yeah.
husband's dead.
Yeah.
Fair play to her, son, obviously.
Absolutely,
Like, I mean,
darling. But they actually go and do that.
do you ignore him?
No.
But it'd be good if you still got Captain Con.
Yeah, I know.
Just be like, here, thank you very much
No.
for allowing me to get home here.
I don't even think I spoke to them.
Gosh, that's mad.
You know what I mean? Went like sober next day. Like just said like be
Just
down,
sitting there.
be down reception for 4, and that was just it. Jumped in the taxi, didn't speak a word. Jumped on the flight, didn't speak a word.
Wow.
Crazy, mate.
But you know what? That's probably sums up everything that we need
That
for
was
you.
it,
It probably, you know what, we'll end on a
Yeah,
bad note, but Jesus, that's...
I know. I know.
Well, here in fairness, at least you were going through that stage, because if you weren't, you probably wouldn't have asked that question. You probably wouldn't have gone home. Or you probably would have just had to book an air jet too.
No, but you know what? I talk to people and I sometimes I say, "Do you have any regrets?" And they go, No, it kind of makes me the person I am.
Yes.
I have too many.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, you kind of just, I think I struggle with that, you know, constantly thinking about regrets and how I've lived and stuff. And then through counselling, you just learn to draw a line and you go, right, from today, I'm going to try.
But you got to think about all the things that you're doing now in terms of what you do for work.
Yeah.
What you're doing for the PT stuff, trying to get people fit. Trying to
Totally. And look, listen,
positives.
you know what? Still, like everybody, like, you know, still have my moments where I'm an idiot. I'm an arsehole and everything else. But if you were to ask my missus what I'm like now for what it was like the whole time she's known me, she doesn't recognise who I am. So
Which is so good.
Yeah, that's a good thing. So definitely, I'm definitely trying to stick this side of me out for an hour while yet.
Well, here, if I have a stag, I'll be phoning you. I'll be wanting the old just for the comedy value. We'll just go sober.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I'd be interested in that.
Listen, thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
I always said about you being so honest and out there with numerous things, and this conversation's been nothing but. So I have so much respect, so much admiration for you for saying appreciate these things. So we finish on hugs.
Thank you.
Up you get.
Bobby Farron. Thank you for coming here.
Join us next week on the On the Spot Football Podcast for yet another fantastic guest. Slightly different next week. We're going to look into what it's like to be a secretary and an entrepreneur in one of Belfast's biggest clubs. Join us next week. See you soon.